these two kids in gym class, we were playing, dodgeball, and they pulled me behind the bleachers and they grabbed me by the throat, and they said, "Go back to China, you chink, go back to China, you chink." My mom and my dad, being immigrants from the Philippines, they wanted to live the American dream and buy a home, and they did that. But yeah, things definitely changed, and because of certain things that happened starting in grade school and then things that were happening at home, when I felt like my dad was giving up on the family, yeah, it sent some real deep emotional feelings of, why is my dad giving up? What did I do?
Champions don't admire their accolades. They don't hang on their victories. They don't succumb to their egos. But they do accept adversity, because adversity forges the champion's spirit. Adversity, for the champion, is the birthplace of greatness.
I stuck out like a sore thumb. I was the only Asian kid, I felt like, in the entire community. I would get picked on a daily basis, trip down the stairs, and, I'd get the food knocked out of my hands in the lunchroom. I was confused. I just no clue what was going on in my world.
But champions, although pushed under the spotlight of the world stage, begin their journeys like most of us, in the common and unfulfilling surroundings of everyday life.
I felt out of place and like an outcast. And I would try to find ways to let out my aggression. As things got worse, I started taking it out on people around me. I would start becoming the bully. I rebelled to another level. I thought if I wanted to make a name and be cool and be known, I had to do what everybody else was doing.
And it's only after the lowest of lows that champions sense there is something more. They know, if only inherently, that one small pivot can alter the course of their lives.
I was about 20 or 21 years old. My ego got the best of me. I put myself in a situation, in basically a street fight, that I could have avoided. My best friend who was there didn't break up the fight. This kid could have beat me to death. That moment changed my life forever, because I knew I just never wanted to be put in a position where I couldn't fend for myself and I couldn't take control.
And from that moment, the champion spirit is born.
I didn't want to be the street kid anymore. I took whatever I learned from that lesson into my fighting career, and I decided, you know what? I found something that I love, something that gave me a whole new life, and I wasn't going to quit on it, no matter how bad it got. I was knocked unconscious in front of my family, in front of my friends and my fans, and my son, who was 8 years old at the time.
Even with that desire to become a champion, setbacks are inevitable. But like resistance training makes the body more durable, being knocked down and knocked out only strengthens the champion spirit.
I questioned everything. I questioned who I was as a human being and who I was as a man, and also who I was as a father.
But champions stand back up.
This is what dreams will do to you. This is what life will do to you. Sometimes it'll knock you to your knees, put you face down in the canvas, and it'll help you decide whether you really want this or not.
And when champions plant their feet firmly on the ground beneath them, having stood back up, they return. Not to boast about their accomplishments, but to pass on what they've learned to the next generation of champions, to those who are at the crossroads of their own journeys.
I go out to schools and I do my best to tell these kids about, what I call Champions Uprising or Champing Up. The main goal is to give kids, an option. When I was growing up, again, 15 years old, I wish I would have had something like this in my life to maybe keep me on the straight and narrow. I want to pass on what I've learned so that they can become the doctors or the scientists or the martial artists or the artists or the musician. I'm trying to show these kids how to dig out that champion that's inside of them.
And the champion spirit lives on in those they reach.
I want to know that when I'm dead and buried, that I've left this planet a little better than it was before. with whatever power that I had. And if I can do that through talking to kids and helping kids that need help, I'm on the right path.